Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sons and Daughters of Liberty. Wow, better mute that. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm beat, exhausted, tired, but this subject has been I don't want to talk about. It's been bothering me. I couldn't even enjoy a live stream that I was watching. I had originally scheduled this for like 11, but I was watching that live stream and figured I would just keep watching it and wait, but I just can't get this subject off my mind, mainly because it hit close to home. I live just under 2 hours from Flint, Michigan. I heard about it the first thing this morning, but like I said, I had a bunch of projects and stuff to do, so I, caught a little bit of it. But, it really wasn't saying anything what had happened other than what had happened. So, as you guys, those that have been following the channel, I had some welding projects and stuff to do today, which, yeah, I'm beat. I'll be uploading those videos tomorrow. But come to find out, this dude came from Canada. He stabbed the security guard, yelled Allah Akbar, and a few other choice words about killing Muslims and stuff over in Syria. You know how the place is, the same MO. I guess what really pissed me off about this whole thing when I finally sat down to relax a bit and watched the news conferences they gave, which was well after they gave it. Like I said, I didn't get in until close to 8 o'clock. Instead of calling it what it was, a terrorist, instead of charging him for terrorism, they want to charge him for violence in an international airport. I mean, yeah, imagine my shock. I mean, you've heard me mention in other streams about Dearborn, Michigan. Let me go a little bit farther. For those that don't know, Dearborn, Michigan, the cops tell you you're not even going to go into Dearborn, Michigan if you're a non-Muslim. But I guess we got to rethink the travel ban thing here. Of course, that's what happens when you have politicians like Justin Trudeau that announces it to the world, come on over, you're welcome. We'll welcome you here with open arms, come on. Don't care what your faith, your beliefs are, you're all welcome here. Well, you fucking cocksucker. This is what happens when you welcome a radical Islamist into your country. They'll come over and commit acts of terrorism in your neighboring country. It's bad enough. We got a problem that nobody's addressing. Now, tomorrow when I get some time, I'm going to do a little research. Well, it's not much. I've already done the research, but I'm going to get the links and stuff and show you some of the articles of the violence, the missing persons in Dearborn, Michigan. That's not being addressed. Then, I happened to catch on something that was posted. What's going on in Europe? And what do I see? A bunch of ragheads promoting violence, but yet I hear the same chants that we hear here in the United States in our protests. You guys aren't seeing the brainwashing, the big picture here? And within the crowd, what do you see? More Muslims. I mean, all because, well, I mean, it's something to be pissed about. But when you start hearing these chants that we're getting used to hearing around here, that we know who's sponsoring this, all it is to incite chaos and violence to cause civil unrest. It's just another form to cause you to turn on each other. It's a brainwashing technique. I mean, if you guys would have watched my videos that I did last night on psychological warfare, you would start to catch on a little bit more and understand what's going on here. They're using these tactics and training the young. I mean, within these crowds, it wasn't. I mean, there was a few older people, but you're seeing a lot of the young people being caught up in this ideology, repeating these chants. But, I mean, it's sickening to see this happen in our country. But we've all been saying it's just a matter of time. And it has been. And, of course, by not calling it what it was, you're just covering it up. But, of course, again, we're dealing with Flint, Michigan. Let's look at Flint, Michigan, and the lead in the water for how many years? To now the point the water is undrinkable. Damage done can't be reversed or repaired. That they slept up, just kept sweeping under the rug. You know, that's why it's important to call things for what they are. That dude that walked into that airport and stabbed that security guard committed a terrorist attack on U.S. soil. But you guys are going to say, oh, it was violence in an international airport. Play on words there, international. So therefore they're not saying it was U.S. soil. More of that psychological warfare bullshit that you keep biting into, falling for. It was violence. No. At the most, that was an F1 felony. I know Michigan laws quite well, actually. In Michigan, that is an F1 felony, using a weapon to commit a violent act. Not an F2, it's an F1. You literally stab somebody with intent to kill them. There's no... That should have been... If you're going to call it anything and not call it by any other word, you call it that. But no, you wanted to take violence in an international airport. What he committed was an act of terrorism. But you have no problem under the Patriot Act calling our vets terrorists, calling felons terrorists. Anybody that commits a crime that goes to jail, whether it be a misdemeanor or not, you have a potential to find yourself labeled as a terrorist. And that's verbatim from the Patriot Act. With your rights and liberties taken away. But now, not only do we have to worry about building a wall on our southern border, now we're going to have to do something with our northern border. Because, I mean, you know who I blame? I don't blame the Canadians. Hell no. Well, they kind of blame me for electing the idiot, but I blame the idiot. He's the one that welcomed these people and told the world, you can come here, we don't care what you're all welcome. Well, of this act, that man's blood, is now on your hands, you fucking cocksucker. You guys, I don't think you guys understand how bad it's gotten. Most of you have heard me talk about North Carolina. Well, I lived in North Carolina for 2 years. I recently went back. You know what I loved about North Carolina? It was quiet, peaceful. You know, I've already knew about Dearborn, the things that have been happening there. I've seen some of the places around here where they started bringing them in and how they just slowly start taking over towns and communities. You know, I remember last year in North Carolina, I'm not going to give the town away, but it was in the mountains, I'll put it that way. It's actually not a town, it's a city. It's considered a city, I say call it a town. But it's classed as a city. When I was first got down there, all the way up to October of last year, so 2 years, there was, you know, a handful, about no more than 20. You know, a couple of them owned a store, business, smoke shop to be in particular. But, you know, they always seemed kind of friendly. But, you know, you always got that bad vibe when you walked into the shop, when just certain ones were working. Because it would also be the ones that be talking on the phone, speaking in Arabic, and you couldn't make out what they're saying. You know, but like I said, it was really just no more than 20 for like 2 years, I see. I went back down there in March, not March, it was April actually. April, came back like the week before May, or might have came back, I think it came back in May, I can't remember. I was down there for a couple months. I went into town, and it was like, everywhere you looked, women in hubjeebs, it was like, it was changed. I mean, you could feel it in the environment. People were looking at it different. More people were being more cautious. Something you learn about living in the South. People don't even lock their car doors. I mean, they'll leave the keys in the car. Trust me, I got back to Ohio. I had to break myself of the habit. You don't do that here in Ohio? Well, it depends where you're at in Ohio. Where I'm at, you could do that and get away with it. But you don't do that in the cities. I'm going to talk about going to a city and doing that. So, like I said, I consider it a town. They call it a city, but potatoes, potatoes. But the whole atmosphere changed. And of course, it had changed before that, because my friend reminded me, you need to be a little bit more your surroundings. You're not seeing what's, like, yeah, I see it. It's just, I go off feel. Nothing feels out of place, so I don't, and he knows it. I just am making sure I'm being aware. Like I said, it kind of grew, but that's like I said, it was still a handful. It wasn't like what I've seen this year. It got me thinking, and I think me and him talked about it for a little bit. We've talked about it recently, too. It's, it goes back to what I said last night about the use of the word assimilation. Except for it's not us, it's not them that they're wanting to assimilate it. They're wanting us to assimilate to their ideas and beliefs and values, which is not going to happen. Never, ever will happen, as long as there's still patriots in this country. Like I said, I ain't going to rant or rave too long. I just want to get a few things off my mind so I can go to sleep. This has kind of been running through my mind all day since I heard about it this morning. I just was able to distract myself with working on things. And the aches and pains I feel right now. I don't get it. I don't get why people can't call an act of terrorism for what it is. Why wasn't he charged for exactly that? I mean, what, are they scared of the Dearborn community? I mean, apparently, you got cops tell you don't go in there. They can't protect you if you go in there. Well, what's that tell you? Is that the type of country you guys want to live in? I know it's not the type of country I want to live in. I know it's not what my forefathers fought and bled for and died, what my generation after generation that served in the military has fought and bled for it and died for. Like I said, I got a big slap of reality in the face with the shit that happened in UK. The London Bridge incident. My niece was right there when it happened. And hearing her story, her family's story of what transpired, how people shut the doors on them and wouldn't let them in. Couldn't get a cab. I'd like to think this country's different. I really would. And I guess somewhat today it proved. They said there were some heroes there that took to the aid of the police officer, security guard or police officer. Haven't really got the facts straight on that one yet. But, there's a reason why we need these travel bans on these certain countries. But apparently now, we need to add another one to the list, which is sad. I've got a lot of Canadian friends. But you can't harbor these people. No country can. Lessons should be learned from what's happening overseas, in Europe, in Germany, in Brussels, in the Philippines. These should be harsh reminders of why we need such things. We can't vet these people. Obviously we can't, because this man got on a plane, was able to come over here without a problem. So apparently he wasn't. But then again, we've seen how that goes. Some of these people's committed these acts have been on watch lists, and they've done nothing about it. And then we come to find out, it finally flips out that, oh, this person was on a watch list. Come on. If you had him on a watch list, you thought he was capable of this, why wasn't he locked up and shipped out of your country? The better question is, why do you keep letting these people in? Or why do you make a public announcement to the world inviting them in? Of course, I think I'm the only one that's so far heard mention the word Canada and Trudeau. Right now, every American, true American, should be pissed off, screaming that this never happens again. But wait, they're not going to, because they didn't call it terrorism, they called it violence in an international airport. What a bunch of crock. And most people are going to hear that, blow it off. Just look at the headlines for almost every major news network. Potential terrorist attack. Last time I checked, when somebody screams Allah Akbar, and tries to kill somebody on any soil, that is a terrorist attack. That is a attempted murder. I mean, at least we're thankful that dude didn't die. I mean, he could have. But, you know, I guess now we need to step outside the box for a bit. We've had a few foiled plots. There seems to be a pattern showing up there, which requires more out-of-the-box thinking, because I'm not trying to think on that right now. But it is. It's jotted down for some deeper thought. Because we've had a couple. We had the one in Brussels, foiled. We had, what was it, Paris, foiled. And we had this one here in the United States, foiled. Kind of looks like a pattern, but right now it is what it is. And it's not a violence in an international airport. I don't know where they came up with that crock of horse shit that they tried to feed to the media, where laws they came up with. That is terrorism, period, on U.S. soil, not international soil, as they tried to spin it by using the words international airport. It may have been an international airport, but it's U.S. soil. So it happened on United States soil, because an airport is not an embassy. For those that know about embassies, U.S. Embassy is foreign soil, no matter where that embassy is. Just like any other country's embassies here in the United States is actually sovereign soil and protected soil of that nation. Well, there's one more thing that actually has those laws in place. A Catholic Church. A Roman Catholic Church is property of the Vatican and considered sovereign soil of the Vatican. You know I don't agree with that one, but like I said, tomatoes, tomatoes. We can debate that some other time. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just letting it get to me because it's been a long day. No, that's not it. I'm letting it get to me because I see what it is. I've seen how they spun it, and that's what pissed me off. See, even I can be triggered, and that triggered the shit out of me after I heard that report. You know, the other part that kills me, I've studied religion, many religions. Why is it that when we have our Christmas, Passover, and other festival religions, we're not violent. We don't commit violent acts. We cherish life. But when they have Ramadan, it seems like the violence escalates. That don't make sense. It's kind of rat's ass backwards to me. When you compare it to all the other different religions in the world. You know, like I said, I try to keep religion out of my topics. But it's kind of hard when you got one that's thrown in your face every day, because you see it every day, and it's based on violence. You see the violent acts. And truthfully, you don't really see the real violence that goes on. I kind of wish they would start showing the public the things that some of you have seen here on YouTube that's looked for, or seen some other reports on it. You know, throwing homosexuals off roofs, beating a woman to death because they thought she threw a Quran in the trash. Mind you, this was the New York Times report, along with a video to go with it. And the video was very graphic, because after they beat her to death, they didn't stop there. They drug her in front of a car, ran her corpse over, stoned her corpse, and set her corpse on fire. But then again, you also got to realize women have no rights under Sharia law. You can't drive. They don't want you to be educated. You are basically slaves meant to breed with. That's it. Which, I don't get the feminist movement to that. Supporting Sharia law, opposing a travel ban, wanting these people to come in, because you're not. It's not the oppressed that they're coming in. That's the problem. It's the soldiers that are fighting in Syria and fighting in Iraq and everywhere else that are blending in with refugees and the oppressed and coming into our country. These countries, well, yeah, they're probably here too. I mean, they don't doubt me, doubt it. But of course, again, if you guys, anybody would check out the investigative report I have on this channel, you might find a few other new faces, which I've been seeing slowly crop up, you know, for all those Antifa idiots. Oh yeah, cover your face. Well, some of you should cover your whole fucking body, because your tats speaks volumes. Some people can recognize fake ink. And when I say it's ink, guys, but it's homemade ink. It's called prison ink, or it's called homemade ink. It's not speedball, indigo ink. It's not tattoo ink. There's a big difference, especially when it comes to black work. Real ink, as it gets older, has a bluish pigment to it. Yes, you'll still see black, but certain ways the sun catches it, you'll see the blue in it. Homemade inks are jet black and will stay black and won't fade. But, you know, hey, sometimes I think I'm just speaking to myself on some of these subjects, so. I don't know, but I do think it's time people start waking up to what's really going on. But, like I said, it's 12:30 now. It's kind of early for me, but I am beat. Honestly, I don't know what else to say on this subject that won't get me in trouble. And the fact that, I don't know, I'm still processing it. So, yeah, there'll probably be a part 2 to this one when I'm not exhausted, beat. Like I said, tomorrow, for those that was looking for the videos of the projects I was doing today, I'll be uploading them to sometime tomorrow. I just now took them off my phone. So, I have to, as you guys know me, I don't really edit. I just throw them all together. So, it's going to be like an hour and a half video. With the last part of it, I kind of got into a little bit of subject, because when I was finished up, I just went out back to set, listen to the birds, the wildlife, and rest. But, like I said, I'll upload those, and I don't know, depends how I feel. If I wake up like I woke up this morning, which more likely I will wake up probably worse than I woke up this morning. So I was lifting steel today, and plus ups and downs from welding, so yeah, I'm going to be sore. I'm already sore. And anybody that's ever done welding, and you know, when you weld on a hot day, you are exhausted. I've been hydrating ever since I've been in, and I still feel dehydrated. And I was hydrating out there while I was working. Yeah. But, I guess, I don't know, guys. I guess nowadays they're just finding all kinds of ways to call something for what it's not. Trying to, oh, it wasn't that. It was violence at an international airport. That's the law we're charging him for it with. Huh? Okay. Never knew that such a law existed, but okay. It did. Oh, wow. Yeah, that this bugs me in the worst way. I mean, the big issue is the fact that it came from Canada. Walked around the airport, got his bags, went in the bathroom, came back out of the bathroom, got his bags, and walked up to a security officer or cop, whatever he was, and stabbed him in the neck, yelling, yeah, you know what he yelled. I'm not repeating it again. I don't know, maybe I'm the one who's brainwashed, but in my eyes, a spade's a spade. That's terrorism on American soil. I know some people got it. Some people seen it, called it for what it was today. People I've talked to. Funny, I'm still commenting on a stream that I commented on about 3 weeks ago. It's still active here on YouTube in the comment section. But it's people that, like me, live close to the area. We know the area. I've got friends that live there. I got friends that live in Flint. course, they even say the same thing. Of course, they also says a few other things. Like, yeah. Michigan, really, guys, is not the place you really want to mess around with and piss off the Michiganders. One, at least in the 90s, Michigan was second in the country when it came to militia. But, they kind of forced the militia into submission, to sort of speak. Not really, but you guys know what I mean. And there was a couple militia groups that's done some stupid stuff. That's kind of made the other ones shun away and be more quiet. More, okay, we're just going to be more of a prepper community instead of a militia. But that's the last, trust me, it's the last thing you want to do is get those guys fired up, because they're not going to tolerate this. And Americans shouldn't tolerate this. What us Americans should be doing is telling the stupid committees to quit wasting our taxpayer dollars. Tell these Democrats quit crying like bitches and coming up with ways that's going to fail because you're just mad because the person you wanted didn't get elected. It's getting old, and it's coming at our expense. I'd much rather see our infrastructure taken care of. Really, we need a wall. Looks like we're going to need a wall on our northern border now. We need travel bans put in place. We need our travel ban re-looked at now with what the incident that just happened today, or yesterday, since it's 12:30 now. We need them focusing on real issues, not chasing illusions and trying to create illusions. Because in a sense, what they are doing, they are actually committing treason. They're violating their oaths as elected officials. They're supposed to represent us, we the people, for the people. They have a job to do, and they're not doing it. So I hope you guys, obviously, you guys get it, because we've seen what happened in Georgia. Oh, by the way, that went under record, under history, as the most spent in history, money-wise, which is ridiculous. Like I said, I kind of touched on that yesterday, which is very ridiculous, how much money was spent. That portion of money, and you add what was spent here in Georgia and some of these other places that are re-electing senators to replace people that's been appointed, could have knocked out a huge chunk of our national deficit. The bottom line is, Democrats, they want to keep crying. Well, you're going to find yourself even less than a minority inside of Congress, and that's not a good thing. You don't want one side having complete control. You want both sides, but you don't want people in there that's not about the Constitution, not about our rights and liberties. And right now, that one particular party is not about our rights and liberties, and not about us at all, but most of our politicians aren't. Keep it all the way real. They answer to their lobbyists, they answer to their big, wealthy donors that, because they're part of the corporate sector, can donate as much money as they want. We need change in this country, and it starts with us. It starts with us stop electing these politicians and removing the ones that aren't for the people, we the people. And it's time that, hey, time for, especially you guys that are in the feminist community, these LGBT communities, and all the other communities that seem to, for some odd reason, want to support Sharia law, and not support travel bans in countries that it goes against everything you stood for. Your organizations, groups have stood for over the years. You're making their voices go silent. Their meaning goes silent. It's time that you guys, within your communities, within your organizations, start standing up and speaking up. Whoever is in there, because let me tell you, I know for a fact how it's happening. I've told you how it's happening in my investigative report. You guys have had your organizations infiltrated. A nice slick talker that knows how to use psychological warfare, and it's just slowly integrated in, came up through your ranks, you know, using some of your ideologies and slowly twisting them to where the causes you stood for, you're no longer standing up for them, and people are starting to turn away from them because you've killed their voice. It starts with you guys. You need to take back, because those movements, they were important, still are important to this day, as long as you. As long as you keep to those core values that you once stood for. I mean, if we're going to get change here, it's going to have to start with us. And there's, like I said, there's plenty of ways to do it that's non-violent. We don't need to do what they're doing. That's what they want us to do. But, yeah, I mean, I think this should have been a wake-up call to everyone. But see how they're spinning it, so they're trying to dull it down so it doesn't have the impact that it's supposed to have. We don't want what happened September 11th of 2001 to happen again. And that's exactly what it's going to happen if we keep allowing this. We're going to start seeing what's happening over Europe. I mean, right now, Europe is pretty much on an anarchy. That's what they're trying to do. But, like I said, guys, I'll get back when I got a clear head to think on this and do some more research on this. I'll be covering this again tomorrow, or today. I mean, I just wanted to vent a little bit, bounce ideas off people. So, I will catch you guys sometime tomorrow. I don't know, I might do a live stream from Twitter in the morning. I don't know. Morning cup of coffee from Twitter sounds good. Just depends how I feel in the morning. But you guys have a good night. You guys have a nice, safe week. Tomorrow's Thursday. Hey, Friday's almost here. Work week's almost over, guys. So chance to relax on the weekends. But I will catch you guys tomorrow. Like I said, I'll upload those videos tomorrow from the welding projects I was working on today. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.